Okay, so I'll be using the string names E, A, D, G, B, and E. Most of the chord phrases in this intro and verse have a D note in it at the end of each phrase, which is the B string 3rd fret. If it was alternate tuning, which is the way that Dan would have recorded it, that note would have come from adjusting the E string down to D. But since we're doing it in standard tuning, this is the way. So most chord phrases start with a pinch of 2 notes, the bass note and the treble note, followed by 3 more notes. So it starts with a G, with that 3rd fret D note on the B string. So you pinch the E and the B, and then you play the D, G, and the B. Then you go to the E minor 7th, you play the bass A string with the B string, then you play the D, G, B, but when you play the B string, you put your 3rd finger there because you're going into a G major 7th chord. So it'd be like this at the A minor 7th. And then you play the G major 7th chord with the bass A string and the B string, pinch, and you play the D, G, B, and then you go to a C add 9 chord, play the A string with the E string, then D, G, B. So from the beginning it would be like this. Then you go to a G with an open B string. Hit the E string and the B string, D, G, B, A minor 7th, A and B, D, G, B, and then you go into a G B chord, which is like the middle of the G chord. So the 2nd fret of the A string, 3rd fret of the B string, and pinch those 2 together. Then an open E string, 2nd fret of the E string, and then go into a C chord with this addition of the 3rd fret of the E string, the A and the E string, and then hit the B string, and then open an E string, and then back to the B string. So you go to a G chord like the beginning of the song with your finger on the 3rd fret of the B string, play the E and the B, D, G, B, A minor 7, the A, B, D, G, B with the 3rd fret note there. They go to the G, B chord, pinch the A, B, open E string, back to the B string. Now you go into a C add 9 chord like this. You play the G note first, the G string, and you play the bass note, the A string, back to the G string, and then the B string. So it's like this. Now we go into a B flat chord, like this. Index finger on the 1st fret of the A string, pinky or your 3rd finger on the 3rd fret of the B string. So you pinch those 2 notes, the A and the B strings, and then you go to the 1st fret of the B string, little run here, 3rd fret of the G string, back to the 1st fret of the B string. Hold on to that note while you're doing this. Open A, open D, open G, hammer onto the G on the 2nd fret as you're going into the G chord like this. Open G string, E string, D string, G string, open B string, then you go to an A minor 7th, play the D and the B strings, pinch them together, then you play the open G string, slide those 2 up, hit them again, same strings, D, B, open G, slide, D, B. So from the B flat chord would be like this. And from the beginning, I'll bring fire in the winter, you'll send showers in the spring, we'll fly through the falls and summers with love. I suggest this type of pattern. A, G, B and E together, back to G. Then you go to the C chord, play the A, G, B and E together, G. So the first two chords are like this. Then you go to a B flat chord. I like to do it like this. Some people would do it like that. Some people would do it like that. I like to do it like this. You gotta get the first fret on the A string and the next 3 strings on the 3rd fret. So I suggest doing it like this. And that is the same type of pattern. Let's start with the A, D, G and B together, back to the D, then pinch the A and the G and the B strings together, then play the D string again, so it'd be like this. Then after that, alternate the bass to the 1st fret of the E string now, then pinch that with the G and the B strings, and then play the D string again, so like this. Then after that you go up to here. And when you go up to here, you can also do this. What you're doing is you're putting 2 fingers on the middle 2 strings on the 5th fret, 3rd finger on the D string, pinky on the G string, index finger on the 3rd fret of the B string, and you run through those 3 notes. D, G, B, and back to the G string. And you do the same thing with this note now. You lower 1 semitone and 1 fret on the D string down to there, do the same thing. So it'll be like this. You go 1 more down on the D string. I suggest using a bar on the 3rd fret to do that, to grab the D string and the B string. And then go back up. And then you go back to get that 1 more note, 4th fret on the D string. Then you do this. To do that riff, you hit the 3rd fret of the B string, hammer up to the 5th string. Then go back to the 3rd fret of the B string, then you go to the 5th fret of the G string, the 4th fret of the G string, hit it, and then slide down to the 2nd fret, get that note. And then you go into there's 3 sections starting with B flat. So the first one's like this. second one's like this. The last one's like this. So the first one, A and B, B1, G3, B1, hold on to it, open A string, open D string, open G string, hammer onto the G string, open G string. E, D, G, B, then third fret of the B string, and then back to here, D, G, B, like this. So the second time you do the B flat, you're going to go into a G chord, but with your finger on the third fret of the E string, like this. So this part's the same. Now, E, D, G, B, E, and back to D, G, B. The last time you do B flat, same thing at the start. But now when you go into the G chord, you get your middle finger on the second fret of the G string, hit the E string, D string, G string, slide that G string note up to the fourth fret, hit the third fret of the E string, then finish with the third fret of the bass E string. So like this, the last segment's like this. 3 parts put together. I'm in love with you.